Evening, everybody. How we doing? How we doing? So, what the heck happened today? What a Monday! What a Monday! If you looked at market open and Sunday, like the overnight session, we gapped up like 200 something points. I think. Like if you just measure from where we closed to where we opened, 213 point gap. Pretty insane for a new week opening gap. So, there's a few things to consider with the current context, and that is trade negotiations, right? Um, an expected Fed Fed rate cut coming up on Wednesday. Like, there's a bunch of just macro context to consider that makes and on top of that, on top of the gap, we trended from the overnight since the low till the most recent high, we were up 150 points. So if you add that to I mean, you can't really add it to the gap itself, but if you take it from the gap to the high, up almost 300 points, considering the gap. It's an insane thing for a non-news Monday on a news-heavy week. So looking at the economic calendar, obviously, right? We have the Fed rate decision expected to be a Fed rate cut. There was also going to be more. There was more stuff here Thursday, Friday. It probably got moved, but yeah. Um, Regardless, news heavy, and yeah, all eyes on the Fed rate decision. And yeah, actually, let me turn down the music really quick. But yeah, gonna be going over the trades that I took today. Um, I saw the gap. I'm like, wow. I immediately thought to myself, I want to see price retrace to this. Hopefully, market open is close to the gap, and then we take something off of that. This did not end up happening. Because I remember, I think it was last week, where we had like a gap, right? I think it was during this week. So like the week of October 13th till October 17th, like that week, we had a bunch of different trades you could have taken off of the new week opening gap, that were pretty freaking solid. Pretty freaking solid. And yeah, so like there was a trade on Friday, continuation, trade on Tuesday, like right at New York. So pretty solid trades, pretty solid week there. So I was thinking in terms of that, right? Like I've seen it happen. So I was like, you know what? I want to see price retrace to this. Um, so once I saw this, I'm like, interesting. We kind of just traded away from it, and it's been a steady trend. And this is where my mistake came in. Like, I feel like the context was kind of, I kind of ignored it. Like, if I'm being completely honest, I kind of put it to the side. It's not like I ignored it. I just didn't give it the importance that it deserved, right? All-time highs context. Whenever you're making the all-time highs, price continues making the all-time highs. So you don't want to try to catch the top. You don't want to short. Like whenever we sweep all-time highs, you don't want to short that. You don't want to short that move because it's you're trying to call the top and you're gonna get burnt. It happened to me today, right? It happened to me today, and I think I'm not entirely sure if it's happened to me that many times in the past. Because I feel like before today, when we were in all-time highs context, I wasn't. I was just sticking to my long bias, right? So today I kind of put that to the side, but it was based on some context clues, and I'll go over them really quick. So this is the first context clue that I saw, and it's the fact that we had a CVD divergence where we made clearly a higher high on the CVD, and it's a pretty significant difference in price in terms of making a lower high. So it looked really good to me, and the fact that we had failed buying here we failed, and then we're retesting it. Retesting this. It looked good to me. So I entered. I can't remember the exact candle. I think I have it here somewhere. Yeah, right here. Ended up getting stopped out, as you'll see here in a second. But entered on this candle, and this is on the 5 minutes. So yeah, pretty sure it's the same candle. Um, so I entered pre-market, right? And it was looking good. Not gonna lie, it was looking good for a bit. Here we started to see some rejection. I was paying attention to the value area. Obviously, our value area high is at the high. So I figured since our value area high is at the high, I don't see us like once again all time highs context, right? All time highs context tells us we're probably gonna rip through this and continue making new all time highs, and our value area is gonna shift higher. But to me, I was like, oh, okay, we're trading higher. Sorry, we traded here, like it's just the CBD divergence looked really good to me. It looked really good. Um, just off of these highs, that's a CBD divergence right there. You can mark it out as CBD. CBD. I'm actually going to make it this size and center. Cool. So we know our CBD divergence is right there, and right here, 915. It's looking good, right? Um, then we kind of flipped back. Here, we were approaching market open. This was my opportunity to go break even, and I didn't. I instead decided to trail to this high, so I mitigated my risk. And then off open, it just immediately ripped. It wicked me out, and in the process of this candle forming, I took another short. Okay, so for just right off the bat, this trade should have been break even. I should have trailed my stop. Like, let's say my stop is here, right? So my stop is up at this high. Okay, it should have been here. That's like 2 points in profit. I might have gotten wicked out, but I should have just gotten out right there. And then the next entry was in the process of this wick forming, if I'm not mistaken. And let me show you really quick the execution. It got stopped out, unfortunately, but my entry was 827.25. So go ahead and put that in here, 827.25, and I have my stop at the wick. Okay, here's where the problem is. Okay, considering this range, right? The stop is wide. So what are we dealing with here? We're dealing with a 40-point range, pre-market range. I'm talking about like from like freaking 6 a.m. right? 6 a.m. till right before market open. That pre-market portion of price action is a pretty tight range. Sure, you could consider, oh, we've ripped up like 150 points, so it's a wide range. It's okay to have wide stops. In my eyes, my entry here should have been better, right? Maybe if it was like up here somehow, or maybe even like here. I could have targeted this, right? Like if I even did this, something like this, like just having a better entry would have helped me get out of this trade, okay? But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. I was in at 827.75, and I was targeting through the open. That's another thing. One of my context clues today was through the open being below us, and it didn't get traded through in London. That makes it a pretty strong statistic, okay, when it doesn't get traded through in London, especially for the first hour 30 of New York. So, like, and seeing this rejection, it looked to me like, okay, this is just a fake out. We're going to continue. Like, to me, that looked like a judo swing, which is basically when judo swing is a concept that refers to market open, manipulating to one side and then heading the opposite direction, right? And another thing that I will note here with this trade is the fact that when you're in a pre-market trade, expecting market open to head in that direction, you gotta be aggressive with your stop rallying. Because like I thought to myself, right? I thought to myself, okay, I want to see market open head straight through this 1 hour the immediate low, London low, and then through the open finally. And then maybe we could see a manipulation all the way down here in Asia lows, the start of that new week opening gap, to then head higher. Like in my eyes, I'm like, okay, people are probably gonna want to sell this off to the new week opening gap to get a better fill, to then take it long. Okay, that was what I was thinking, and yeah, I just kind of wanted to see that new week opening gap get rebalanced today. Um, and I just kind of I fought the trend. I fought the trend, and I fought the all time highs context, right? So that's my mistake, right? And here, this happened. This candle was looking really good at some point. Because you see this wick, right? It was looking really good at a certain point. Um, and then it gave me a bunch of opportunities to close in profit, and I just didn't. I think the next one, then it starts looking good again. Another opportunity to go break even, and I just didn't. Right when we swept this 1 hour at immediate low, that was my opportunity to go break even though it's not the best RR. I like it's a market open play, right? I should expect it to like continue ripping in that direction. And the fact that we were holding New York VWAP, I should have been quicker to accept that this was a losing trade, right? But I just decided to hold my stop, and it ended up stopping me out. I thought about reversing my position, and I then thought to myself, you know what? I'm a wait. I'm a wait. I'm a wait. I'm a wait because the CVD divergence is no longer relevant. It was relevant off of the first attempt. The second attempt was really just based off of that Judas swing. Saw a lot of failed buying at the high, obviously. Very strong wick. So yeah. And then I had my clear draws and liquidity. So now I'm like, I don't want to trade to the upside because we don't have any, like, I don't want to take any trades right off the bat, like, off New York VWAP because I don't have targets yet. The IB has not set and broken for me to have a statistically backed target, right? So I wanted to wait, and that's exactly what I did. So I noticed that on Bookmap, if I'll find the picture, there was this zone right here. This zone, which if you see on the volume profile, was pretty much a volume peak. So I kind of marked it out based on that. And I marked it out, and I can't remember, like, I don't think I marked it out on my chart, but it was like pretty much like this portion of like consolidation. But I wanted to wait for something clear. At this point, the 45-minute IB has set, so now we can actually set some of our targets, right? We can actually go ahead and put in our initial balance with our extensions. So now we actually have some targets. So now we have a reason to go along. And I figured, okay, what else, like, what's in our favor, right? Don't want to just trade it blindly. You want to see an actual, like, confluence get hit and go from there. So what happens here? Can drag it out over here. Cool. What do we have? We have the fit levels for the New York session. It's not that strong of a move, right? Market open wasn't a strong move. It was very choppy at first. It looked like it wanted to head lower, take that London low, that next 1 hour ITL, and that trade open. But afterwards, I realized, okay, we swept the 1 hour immediate low and rejected it. We were holding New York VWAP. So I noticed the following. Price respected overnight VWAP. We held New York VWAP. The 45-minute IB set its high second. and New York VWAP is now in alignment with Fib levels. So I'm like, cool, let's see what we can do. And that's when I noticed this little zone right here that I have marked out, okay, which is just this like kind of like low high volume node, if you could call it that. So a bit of a consolidation area that we broke out of, and I wanted to see price hold there. And I did see failed selling here, but I think I wanted to wait for something clearer. I can't remember what it was. I think I was looking at Fib levels, but it started looking good here. So we actually reached those VWAPs and we just traded through them. And then once we reached that 618, it started to look good. And the reason why I say that is because we got this. So we had a lot of selling. Like, I think it was the most selling we had all session. Yet somehow, we're failing. Not only that, we retested that failed selling. Saw more failed selling. It was a bit lower, right? But buyers stepped in after that. So I'm like, cool, this can be a protected low. And to me, I didn't like the idea because I didn't like the idea of just trading off of. If I can find the entry, I think it was this one. Yeah. Spoiler alert, it looked good, but 83650 was my entry. It was a bit lower. Actually, it was pretty close to the way the candle closed. But I had my stop all the way down here because I figured, like, I think I didn't wait for the candle close. So yeah. 899.75, 899.50 was my take profit. And yeah, this was my trade idea, and yeah, it was looking really good, honestly. Like, it was looking really good, and we had a bunch of confluences in our favor. I waited for all confluences to get hit. Like, I think I like talked to myself out loud. Like, okay, we have a lot of confluences in our favor. Let's see which one gives us a reaction. Like, we don't just want to trade blindly. I wanted to see the high volume node hold. We got a bit below it and then recovered immediately. So then, after I saw, well, this isn't it. My apologies. After I saw this, I'm like, cool, that's good enough for me to enter. You see my entry's 3650, so I waited for like this to get validated, like this failed selling to get validated by buyers stepping in. So like I enter around where this is, right? So yeah, this is where I entered, like 3625, so like a tick above this from when I took that picture. Yeah, I mean, it was looking freaking solid. And then I got this candle immediately, immediately trailed to here. And then I'm like, okay, I want to go break even. I'm already 2 losses in. I want to go break even. What's my opportunity to do so when we break IB high? We get it there. Break even. Simple as that. Job is done. Not much I can do now. I was trying to battle my thoughts, right? Because your mind can play against you pretty strongly if you let it when you're trading, especially after you've gotten 2 losses in a row, right? So I was like, shorts are wrong, right? After seeing this, I'm like, shorts are wrong. Seeing this confirmation, shorts are wrong. I'm on the right side of the trade. I'm on the right side of price action, right? Then kind of waited, got our first extension hit. Cool. About to hit that second extension. We hit the 0.2. See, excuse me. We saw a retracement, and here is where I actually marked out a low volume node, which I'll mark it out really quick. It was still the 58s. So this fair value gap was actually a low volume node right here. So I figured, okay, this low volume node might align with New York VWAP and that 820 VWAP. Cool. Our break even is below this, so let's just wait it out and see. If anything, I want to see this low volume node hold. Okay? And that's what we get here. Look at the reaction we get off of that level. Look at the freaking reaction we get at that low volume node. I said to myself, I want to see this hold, and that's a sign for me to stay in the trade. A low volume node held, an internal low volume node held, and continued higher. So I'm like, cool. My next point where I could trail is once we break this high. I thought to myself, if we break this high, we're like, what's the high? 892, so like 7 points away from my TP, right? And then I think we get it here in a second. There. That's where I trailed, okay? And I saw price was stalling out. And actually, before this candle printed, I'm like, we are like nothing. We were like 2 points away, 2.5 points away from my take profit. So I just decided to trail to this body because it was the point where I would have recovered my losses and end the day in either a better profit or break even. Like the type of days where you're able to come back from a loss, you don't want to get greedy because like, what if, to me, I was looking for any opportunity, whether it was taking partials or trailing, for me to like recover my loss and maybe get some more money back, right? But unfortunately, look what happened. It wicks me out by like, I want to say that's like 2 points. 2.5 points. Wicks me out by 2.5 points. And they get CP. It hit. Not only does it do that, it continues even higher. Like after this was like the low of the move, right? Like after this retrace, this was the low of the move. We never revisited that point at any point in the session. We just continued higher. Like, look at this. We reached, oh, not yet, but like later in the day, we reached 2,600. I remember like thinking about my targets, right? I wanted it to be one of the lower end, like one of the first extensions. I didn't want to target like the 0.8, 0.7. Like to me, that seemed kind of crazy based on like the statistic that's behind each of those extensions. So I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna just target the 0.3. I think the 0.1 and 2 are pretty solid, almost dang near guaranteed if we closed above the IB high, which did end up happening. But yeah, the 0.3 seemed like a pretty solid target. It's like in general terms, it's like a 75% chance of it hitting. So yeah, a friend of mine actually held this all the way to market close, so he probably caught like the best move he could have caught. But yeah, like if you held this, freaking congratulations, you caught it like a 1 to 6 probably. So yeah, pretty freaking solid move. I unfortunately missed out on it and got stopped on my trailing stop loss, which I'm okay with, right? At the end of the day, like you can be like, like I missed out on such a great move, but the way like I should be seeing it, and I'm trying to see it as that right now, is like, dude, you had a trade, you had 2 trades that you got stopped out on before this trade. And this trade helped you recover those losses in full. Like I ended the day $9 in profit, which is like nothing. In terms of like the balance advancing towards that profit target. But recovering 2 losses in a single trade, that's pretty freaking solid, right? So like there's no need for me to like wallow on my self pity because of this trade, because like at the end of the day I recovered 2 losses, right? If this trade ended up being a loss, I might have blown my account, I'm not gonna lie. And now we're just at a pretty solid spot. We're not at break even just yet, in terms of like the account balance and the trailing drawdown. But hey, it was a solid freaking trade. Um, I realized that I was wrong, and I actually gave myself time to find a good setup. And I was pretty patient with it, right? I was pretty freaking patient with it. So I don't see a reason why I should be mad or anything, right? I missed out on a bunch of money, sure. I missed on a, I mean, really missing out on like the opportunity to be closer to passing my account. But at the end of the day, I did my job, right? I think I did pretty well in taking the trade. Once I saw my confluences, and I adjusted accordingly. Like I got aggressive with my trading once we were close to my TP because I was in drawdown, right? I want to make sure I can get that, like, get back that drawdown, and yeah, I mean I'm missed out on like what 20 points, probably like 200 extra bucks. It's not that much of a difference as what I usually risk in a single trade. So yeah, it would have been nice, sure, whatever, but I'm not mad about it, right? Did my job, got back my losses, and yeah, we move on. Pretty interesting week, pretty interesting start of the week. It's just a Monday. It's just a no news Monday. Just crazy. So now, just gotta wait and see what we do in the overnight. Right now, just kind of looking at it in general terms, this honestly could continue higher. Like, our new all time high is at 26,1875. Just crazy. 26,018 and 3/4. Pretty crazy. Pretty freaking crazy. So we'll see. We'll see what tomorrow brings. I don't think it's news heavy tomorrow. Manufacturing index, consumer confidence. So it'll be but yeah, it'll be pretty interesting for sure. And yeah, there's not much to say. 2 L's, 1 win. Recovered my losses. Call it a day. So hopefully tomorrow I tune back in with a one and done banger. It'd be pretty nice. It'd be pretty nice if that's the case. But we'll see. We'll see what the day brings. Maybe it doesn't bring any trades, and that's okay too. And we'll just try our best to catch the ideal move of the day, the ideal setup of the day. Alright? So hopefully I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.